What more needs to be said, really? Crystal Palace 4, Manchester United 0. And, yeah, that's where we're at, innit? That's where we're at. I mean, going into the game, I mentioned on the pre-match, that I expected us to lose. I didn't go into the game. And this is what you get, isn't it? Because you say how you really feel. You say how you feel. You say what is the reality, where you go, we're going to lose this game. We're going to go into this game and we're going to lose. And you get the pushback of, don't be negative. Why are you being negative? What's there to be positive about? You just saw it out there. And I went into the game knowing we were going to lose, particularly with, with the centre backs, having only one centre back available today. And, that's fine if you're going to go to Selhurst Park and you're going to lose 1-0, 2-0, or, you're going to put a shift in. But even today, and this has been my problem for weeks now, with this team, with the coach, with everything, is there is just a sheer lack of effort. There's a sheer lack of effort. There's a sheer lack of accountability. I'm not having excuses of the injuries for the lack of desire. I mean, how often have we said recently of, well, I feel like these players are still playing for Erik ten Hag. They're not playing for him anymore. You saw that out there. They gave up. We've seen them give up before. They gave up. Ten Hag walked off a defeated man. Everyone knows. And this is why I was saying before the match, I said a lot can still happen. A lot can still happen, and momentum's a funny thing. Whether it's positive momentum, i.e. you win matches and you win trophies, or negative momentum in which everything goes to complete trash. And that's what it was tonight. And I can't believe KG only came to the realization halfway through, or like at 2-0, of we're going to lose against Arsenal at the weekend. Of course we're going to lose against Arsenal at the weekend. And the narrative of, you can't say, we're going to win another game this season. That's very negative. Look at the teams we're going to play. Look at the teams we're going to play. We got Arsenal, like arguably the most informed team in the league at the moment, at home. We got Newcastle, bang in form as well. They're pushing for Europe. We got Brighton. They've been out of form, but they just beat Aston Villa at home. So maybe they might just be actually coming into a bit of form at the time. And let's not pretend when it gets to the end of the season, if these players can't be bothered to fight for anything now, 4 games out, they're not going to do it for the last game of the season, are they? And Erik ten Hag looks like a defeated man. It's over. It is over. This was my concern way back in January, is that Erik ten Hag could become a lame duck manager in the sense of everyone knows his future apart from him. It's still ambiguous. There's still going to be those things that say they're planning for the season and what have you. But if results continue like this, if performances continue like this, we know the outcome. We know the outcome. And that's not being, that's not Ten Hag. You want Erik ten Hag out or Ten Hag out or Ten Hag in or all that, bullshit of the whole, you've got to pick a side and all that kind of stuff. When stuff like that happens, everyone knows. That's why, like you saw it on the match view, with the guys sitting around and just sort of laughing because you're just numb at this point, aren't you? You're just numb. The club, I said it after the Coventry game. I don't know how many times I said it recently. It is rotten, fundamentally, top to bottom. Everyone's cards are marked. Everyone. Football's a results business. You don't get results, you go. So that's what's going to happen to the manager. So what's going to happen with these players as well. And every single time Ineos watch the match, they probably just think, they just probably get closer. I mentioned that their finger's on the trigger for a lot of things, and this just gets closer and closer. What's that thing of the doomsday when they go, it's like 3 minutes to midnight? That's what it's like every single Man United game. They just move the thing. They just go, there you go. Another minute closer to midnight. That's where Man United are. To the point, and again, I think the really sad thing this evening is most people, I mentioned it on the pre-match for the match view, most people thought we were going to lose tonight. But even that was like, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable for everyone. And it's just, What more needs to be said? Well, not much more from me anyway. We're going to get to some of the callers. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. This is the full-time viewer. Members can call in and have their say. If you do wish to become a member, you can do so. Links in the video description. It's also the pinned comment in the live chat. If you are a member and you do wish to call in, you can go to the United View YouTube page under the community tab. Only members will be able to see the link. They can call in. They can have their say. Yeah. I mean, we're going to get into it. Let's get straight into the calls because, as I said, there'll be a lot of opinions this evening. Let's start off with Show. Show, I feel like I always recently I've been going not too much to be surprised about this evening, but I mean, I'm assuming you probably were like a lot of people thinking we were going to lose this evening going into the game. But did even this surprise you to an extent?
No, because I don't know if you saw, I predicted 4-1. In the pre-match, so yeah, I thought we'd score a goal, but yeah. So yeah,
I went with 3-1. I went 3-1 defeat. I was off as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've been threatening this kind of scoreline all season because I think we've gotten away with it a lot this season. Almost every week, we kind of like, and a Villa away comes to mind. Where I remember we nicked out. I was thinking, how did we not lose at 6-1? You know, Bournemouth away. There's been so many games where we've
Brentford away.
Bloody hell! How can I forget Brentford? Yeah, exactly. So there's been a lot of performances this season where we've threatened that, and even tonight could have been worse. You know, I think 4-0 probably flattered us, which is the sad thing. But yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know how to describe it anymore. I mean, I think it's like you said. I think a lot of people, what you saw the guys in the match, you know, they're just watching it laughing. I think I was just there, just watching the goals go and thinking, yeah, like it doesn't really hurt anymore. But it's just, yeah, there's just nothing to hold on to with this manager anymore. Unfortunately, I mean, I've felt like that for a while, but I think it's just the grave's being dug now. I think that's just what we're seeing, and I think the sad thing is, I think the worst is still yet to come because we're playing Arsenal at the weekend. We can do the whole they've not won at Old Trafford for a while, but we've seen these records don't matter this season because that's the first time ever in history that Crystal Palace have done the double over us, ever. Yeah. So these records have been broken left, right, and centre now. 13 league losses, that's another record. That's 18 losses in all comps now. It's just sad. I think it's just sad. I think, yeah, I mean, even today, like look, we're always going to concede today because of all the defenders you got out. No problem. And like Flex said it quite well. He goes, look, if you lose 1-0, but it's just like that little mistake you got, you know what, Ten Hag, you done an all right job setting up the team today. But you don't, this is the thing, you have injuries, right? But you don't have to lose 4-0. You can set the team up better. And I think that's where today I look at it again and I go, midfield again, nothing there, just grass. We saw Palace every time one ball into the midfield and they were on us. Every time. And even like the same stuff he's doing, like Anthony again today got 80 minutes. And then he brought Ahmad on for the last 10 minutes when it was 4-0. And I'm thinking, what's the point even bringing Ahmad on now? Like, at what point do you go, do you know what? I've lost so many games. I've tried Anthony so many times. It doesn't really give me anything. Let me just try Ahmad. Let me give him, imagine he's not started a game this season. How crazy is that? Let me at least start him. Let's just, you know what? At this point, what have you got to lose? Let's just see. Let's just try it. Who knows? And it's just the same every week. And it's like today, I don't know if did we create a chance today of no? I don't think we did.
I don't think so. There was something I think saying that Rasmus Højlund didn't get a chance the whole game. I mean, that is as one-sided as you're going to find it, isn't it? And this is the thing. It's like, obviously, like I said, I think Ten Hag. I think this is why I say that these results coming up still matter because stuff like this can happen. And then also, if you're ever in doubt about quite a lot of these players, some of them are the fringe players of United, clearly they are so below par. It is frightening as well. So frightening. Casemiro. I mean, that was like a retirement performance. Forget going to Saudi. That's like, call it a career. Like, you can't move anymore. It's like, it was alarming for his career. He's only 32 as well.
It's crazy the similarities between Casemiro for us this season and Fabinho for Liverpool last season. I don't know if you remember Fabinho for Liverpool last season. Liverpool fans were saying the same thing, saying like, in 1 year, how could this guy become so good to this bad? This was the same thing that was happening to him. So yeah, I guess when you're gone, you're just gone. And I think Casemiro with him is just, he's got to go in the summer. We're going to make a heavy loss on him, but it is what it is. But yeah, it's just there's certain things when you look at the team, I just go like even on the ball, I get that we've got injuries, but on the ball, what's the plan? What's the plan to at least have a threat on Palace? And we're not. And okay, Palace is two outstanding players, Eze and Elise. Oh, but clear, would get into our team, no problem. But they're playing Nathaniel Klein, Tyreek Mitchell. I didn't even clock that Gay didn't start the game. He came on. They gave him a nice 15 minutes to come and get some legs, you know what I mean? Get some minutes against us, 4-0 up. They're doing that to us, by the way. They've got Will Hughes in midfield. They've got Mateta up front. This isn't the team of, Harlem Globetrotters, you know what I mean? It's not an amazing, they've got a couple of top talents, but it's not a team that should be 4-0ing us. Let's keep it real.
You know what's scary with like the Elise and Eze things? Like you're saying, oh, they'd get in our team, but it was almost like, I don't know, like they were too good for our team. You know what I mean? Like it was from the Elise point of view, he gets man of the match, but you watched him play and it wasn't even like, oh mate, we got to get him. He's really good. I was watching it going, there's no way he joins us. There's no way he joins us after that. Cause I was like, why? Why would he? Why would he? And we find ourselves in the situation again where we're like, we'd have to offer him a shit ton of money for him to come to a really bad Manchester United side that's full of like transition and nobody knows what's going on. Like, it's so alarming.
It's sad. Yeah, it's sad because it's like, I love both Elise and Eze as players, but in the same way, like I'm a football fan and people are going to say I'm anti-United, but I wouldn't want them to come to this club. I wouldn't. I just think it's not a good atmosphere for players like that. I mean, we've already seen like I feel like in the shortest space of time possible, we've broken Kobe. I look at him, I feel so sorry for him when I see him play. I feel like he's proper suffocating this team. The reliance that Ten Hag is putting on him in this midfield. I look at Garnacho. I think Garnacho just run into the ground. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've never seen Garnacho as this world-class talent. I think he'll be a good squad player. But I look at him at the moment, I just think he's so tired because he started about 35 games straight. And the reason he started so many games is because Ten Hag's own signing, Anthony, has been such a failure. We can't rest Kobe. Why? Because Amrabat, again, Ten Hag's own signing has been such a failure. So this thing of, oh, well, he plays the youngsters. Sorry, no. He's forced to play the youngsters week in, week out because his signings have been such a failure. And before people use the narrative of, the previous players under the previous managers throwing this manager under the bus, 7 of tonight's starting 11 were his signings. And even players like Dalot weren't even featured under previous managers. You can't say Dalot's throwing the manager under the bus. Onana, his signing. Evans, Casemiro. Kobe's is a youngster that's come in. Ericsson, Anthony, Hoyland, Mount. These are all started tonight. All his players. So, you know what I mean? Like you've been given resources, you've been given money. As badly as we are owned, you have been given more money than 99% of managers in world football in the past 2 years. Only Chelsea have spent more than us in the last 2 years. You'd never thought that looking at tonight or this whole season.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up, show. Appreciate you calling in as always. A couple of super chats here. Don F says, if Ten Hag had any integrity, he resigned today. I don't think Ten Hag's going anywhere to the end of the season. Never thought he was going anywhere to the end of the season. RK says, it's been a month for 7 months. Says, fact that he hasn't been sacked yet is an absolute disgrace by the club. P.S. He will say we played amazing football for 5 minutes. I can see he's talking now. I don't know what his quotes are. Alusha says, a dynamic and entertaining defeat for left-footers deficient Man United on the road. Football as seen as and as described by a manager, unacceptable. Yeah, it's like I said, I went into the match knowing we were going to lose tonight, but just it's the nature, isn't it? And that's what I was saying before. It's the nature, momentum. It's results and football matches. They change things. They really do. The best placed plans and I don't know, philosophies, ethoses, they go up in smoke after games like that, after performances. Like, that's what happens, And that's why, like, that, to Show's point, that's why when you play 3 championship sides and you struggle against 3 championship sides, that's why you say rip it up. And it's not surprising. That's the thing today. This isn't surprising. I'm not surprised by the defeat, but it's just more... It's more confirmation, isn't it? It's more confirmation of just like this whole thing is completely rotten. These players that played today, 99% of them, again, need to go. The manager, he's going to be on his last legs because you can't go away to Crystal Palace in the Premier League and get pumped 4-0, even with the injuries that you have. It's just, you're screwed, aren't you? You're screwed. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Amanor. Amanor, thoughts? I mean, after, I think last time I spoke to you, you said you were numb. Does this one even touch this evening, or is it still just pure numbness?
Pure numbness. But do you want to see my new name that I've got?
I can say, it says looking to sell my. Let's see if I can stretch it out. I can just say it just says looking to sell my and then ...
Yeah, looking to sell my Arsenal tickets. So I spent £200 for the ticket. I know. Don't ask. To watch United versus Arsenal next Sunday coming up. So anybody on the channel, if you want to experience the Old Trafford experience and meet the Flex at the Trinity, drop a message in the comments, and I'll sell you those tickets. So on this match, Owen, I'm not surprised by the result. I mean, before the match started, I had a bet with my son. Obviously, joking bet. But I said 3-1. He said 2-1. But I didn't expect 4-0. I know we've had injuries, but I did not expect that. Yeah, we can talk about the manager, but I just want to talk about the players first. In particular, the first goal, Jamie Carragher. I hate him as a Liverpool player, but I got to respect him. At halftime, he pointed out, I don't know if you saw this on Sky Sports. He pointed out when him and Ashley Young were dissecting the first goal, Eriksen was above the halfway line. It was their throwing. The six players in the opposition half, we have a makeshift centre back, and there's a massive gap. You can see the gap. You can't miss it in the middle. All the Crystal Palace players had to do, throw that ball there. Eriksen didn't have the legs. He tried to run back. Fair enough. Okay, he was probably told by the manager, you need to press up. That's why you're up there, and that's why he put the goal. So that's a tactical issue. But then Casemiro doing what he did for the first goal, diving like that. And the worst thing was, Owen, if you're going to dive in, take the player out. He didn't even take the player out. And he went through, I don't know who it was, Eze or Lisa, I don't know which Crystal Palace player it was. He didn't take him out. He ran. He didn't run. He just jogged and managed to scuff a left-footed shot into the bottom corner. It didn't even go into the bottom right left-hand corner. It just went to the bottom corner. That was the first goal. And then the fourth goal, Owen. Oh my God, Casemiro. No. I mean, I said it in the comments. It was almost like he was playing for Soccer Aid. That's how bad his performance was. It was almost like he was playing for Soccer Aid, and he got shoved off the ball, and then Onana flapping for a shot that went in the middle of the goal. If you look at the goal, it wasn't in the top left-hand corner, Owen. Let's be fair. It was like in the middle of the pit, in the middle of the goal. I know we'll talk about the manager, but I just want to say that because people
absolutely, you're right to. No, you're right to, and that, and again, even that, the fact that you have to do that is the thing that annoys me. Of like, everyone's culpable, aren't they? Like you say, Casemiro this evening, it was awful, absolutely awful. Andre Onana, yet again, a game happens where you can see goals, and you sympathise for a bit because you go, well, you're facing a lot of shots, but then you also go, but some of them in the middle of your goal, and they're going in. Like you say, Christian Eriksen can't move around. I agree with Show. Like, you look at Garnacho and you go, didn't offer that much, but then you also go, he's been running to the ground, hasn't he? Been running to the ground. Cobby, I think it's probably the worst performance I've seen him do for Man United as well. He was really, really poor this evening. Rasmus Højlund, if you'd have told me he came off in the 45th minute, I would have believed you because I didn't see him at all. They're all just it's all just awful. I know, absolutely awful.
And it's very, very easy, and it's very, and what Show said before, 100% agree. Show is probably one of the best UV analysts on our community, so I give him respect. So I'm not going to repeat what he said. So 100% agree with what he said. On other players, I think we need to. I'm going to do the player thing. Rasmus Højlund, I'm sorry. I know you're a young man, and I know you're learning the game, but do the basics right. If the ball comes to you, at least offer something. At least hold the ball. He wasn't just. I don't know whether his confidence has gone, or whether he's not training enough, or whether he's not getting the right coaching, but something's not working for him. He's not even doing the hold up play well. Okay, fine, you're not getting shots on target. I totally understand that, and you're right that if you're not getting the supply, I totally defend you for that. But at least run the channels, at least hold the ball. He wasn't doing that, Owen. I know I sound harsh on Rashford, but that he just really irritated me today at Højlund's performance.
I think it's one of those ones with him, isn't it? Where like today, I agree with you. I don't think he played particularly well, but then also he didn't get any service. But then when he does, on the rare occasion, get it, I think his hold up play needs to be way better. He gets involved in the grappling and then he falls down. But it's just, I'm just seeing the goals back.
Here's a question of Hoyland for you. I read this in chat. Somebody said in the chat that Hoyland has a worse first touch than Lukaku, and I'm saying that's a bit harsh. But I don't know what you thought about that. Can you entertain that?
I can see what they're trying to say, because there are some times where, again, I've seen this thing happen several times with him, where he receives the ball, his back's to goal, he's touch tight with a defender behind him, and the ball will just ping off him. The problem is, though, Amanor, is I've also seen that happen with near enough every United player, where they receive the ball and it pings off them. It just... I don't know. Like I said, that's what I said before. The whole thing is just completely rotten. It is. The whole thing's just totally rotten. And I do think that it does speak to something a bit wider, isn't it? Because people that do get, the scapegoats quite often, your Bruno Fernandes's, Marcus Rashford's to an extent. Not that tonight absolves Marcus Rashford of a really poor season, but it does go to show, like, it's not a one-player thing, is it? It's a squad thing. It's a club thing. Squad, coaching, it's an everything thing. All of it is just not fit for purpose, because irrespective of who plays or even who manages, nothing changes, does it? Nothing changes.
And just on the final comment, Owen, 2 comments, if I may. One, you said this, and Guy never said this, and I'll pick up what you said a couple of streams ago. You said that when Ten Hag had that interview with Gary Neville, and Gary Neville said to him about the style of play, you know what you want to do. The 6 at the front, there's a hole in the middle. Why not change? Why not be more pragmatic? And he then went to say, well, if I did that, then players would default, and then if those players come back in again, they wouldn't get used to the system that I'm trying to implement. I get that if you've got all your players available, but you have no centre backs. You had Johnny Evans, who's recovering from an injury. Please, for the love of God, you should have gone more pragmatic. You should have set up. There would not be no shame if he set up with the 2 banks of 4. I know he would not have done this, but set up with the 2 banks of 4, but he didn't do that. And the one last thing as well, when you may want to check on X, but apparently on Brazil football,
I saw this. I don't think it's real, though. I don't think that's real.
Have you seen this?
Yeah, with the Anthony thing.
Yeah, I just thought I'd mention that too, just in case you.
Yeah, I don't think it's real. Because if it is, it's the craziest story ever. Big up, everyone. Appreciate you calling. It basically, there's a thing where it's like Anthony's going to get suspended because he called Ten Hag an egghead. But then you look at it and you go, that can't be real. I don't think. I mean, if that was real, Anthony of all people, could you imagine? They'd be like, "Really? You're cussing out the guys playing you?" Like, oh my god. Yeah, I don't think it's true. We've got over 1,300 people watching. There's not a lot to like this evening in terms of the performance, the result, this season, the future, like the past, the present, nothing. But you can click the like button if you want. That would help us out. So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well while you're at. Let me check a couple of comments and I'll get to another call here. Amanor says, hit the likes, people. Yes. Fat Thor says 5:40. Easy for me to say. AM. Awake since 2:30 AM. Gotta get ready for work soon. What a waste of my time and life. Well, maybe not the last bit. But Fat Thor. But time, absolutely. I'd just get some REM sleep. Get some more. Yeah. K Flow with the super chat said, some of us said in the summer, and you said this in the summer, and Euphoria took over. I even said an experienced striker struggles in this side, and we've had many. What do? Sign a kid to lead a big United attack. Yeah, it's just it's not good, is it? It's not good. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Connor. Connor, you've got the KG chef picture.
It's how I feel watching United,
What's that?
It's just, I'm not sure if to be angry or sad. It's how I feel. It's how I feel. I don't know if to be angry or sad, because I don't know what's happened to the club anymore. And I don't want to get rid of the manager, but he has to take some of the blame for today. It is what it is, just that. I'm not going to be here defending the manager blindly, because he deserves criticism. Like, it's not that difficult to understand. The manager does deserve criticism every now and again. But simply put, today the players they weren't good enough. We had Ericsson, who can't run. We had Anthony, who does what Anthony does. I don't know what he does on the football pitch. He's just there. He might make a few runs and try and cut inside and shoot, but that's all he really does. He don't really do too much else. Casemiro, I think he might have dementia. I think he might be still playing in the playgrounds as a kid. He's taking the ball. He's trying to take the ball to the thing. He's not expected to get pressed by a professional footballer. I don't know what's up with him. Like, I saw the thing of what the commentator said. Our centre backs have a combined age of 68.
People are pointing out in the chat though, Connor, and this is the comeback to this. Those players you mentioned, were they all signed by Erik ten Hag?
Oh, do you want me to go on to the other players? I can go on to the other players. Wan-Bissaka playing at left back. I can go on to everyone else. He was just ones I was starting with. Yeah, we go with Aaron Wan-Bissaka playing left back, not his correct position, and he's not doing well in it. Like, same with Casemiro though. Casemiro's not playing his correct position. What's Casemiro doing? Playing centre back. He looks shit there.
Well, even that, I thought the whole thing with Casemiro being at centre back, whilst it's not his best position, in theory, it should be a little bit easier for him because the whole game's in front of him and not passing him by every 5 seconds like it is in midfield.
Yeah,
but
I understand.
It's still find a way for that
in
to
concept.
happen.
In concept, that is a good thought. However, when you look at Casemiro's style of play, what's his style of play been doing for the past 10 years playing at Madrid? Players in front of me, I'm going to slide in and go and win the ball, or if I'm missing, I've got a player behind me who can win it. Casemiro's mindset is, I'll slide in no matter what, and even if I do fuck up, someone there's to bail me out. And Casemiro just didn't have anyone to bail him out tonight because he was being stupid.
But do you think if he played in midfield tonight, he would have played any different?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. That's the thing with United this season. Probably not. But I genuinely don't know because that's the thing with Manchester United this season. You just don't know what you're going to get. We've got. I get people's
point. A loss.
Oh no! I do understand that, but you just don't know what you're going to get from certain players. You don't know if they're going to turn up and try, or you don't know if they're just going to turn up for 90 minutes and just do a little bit of a kickabout with their friends and go home. No, like I get Ten Hag's made quite a few signings, but realistically, he hasn't had the most support in making the signings that he either wants or the signings he hadn't. No. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Or the signings he has made have been overpriced and not left him enough to, in my mind, build the squad up to cover other positions that is needed. He's been back financially, sure, but he's not been totally back financially. The point where I would back him, in my mind, as what a manager would be if we're going into a rebuild.
But then again, this is where you got to be careful though with stuff like because you say so he has, but how much more then would he need to be backed? Because the idea, this is what's strange when people go, "Oh, he hasn't got all of his first choice signings," and you go, "Okay, like he didn't get Frankie de Jong, I understand that." But he still did get quite a lot of his first choice signings, and a lot of them actually played tonight, and some of them just ain't good enough. And I agree, like it's not his fault that they're overpriced, but this is my point I was making the other day. Anthony, I think Anthony is the best example of this, is that we know he has a veto over transfers. Yes. So he said he wanted Anthony earlier on when he cost 40 million. The club didn't do it. Right. That's not his fault. Yeah. He said, I want Anthony. I totally understand that.
Million.
Was he back? Yeah, I totally get that. I totally get that. So he was backed in the corner financially with the recruitment or whatever. But then we can't pretend that when United came back to him at the end of the window and said, oh, we can get him £86 million. Oh, and by the way, if we do spend this, it's going to take it out of our future budget. He still said yes. And he still co-signed it. He had the veto. He could have said no. So we can't pretend like, oh, he had no idea about that. And also he thought, well, screw it. Even though we're overspending here, he's worth getting it because I need him. I need him through the door. And it hasn't worked out.
Yeah, it hasn't worked out. And that's going to happen when you make signings. But if Anthony hadn't worked out as being a £40 million signing, Ten Hag would not be getting as much shit on his recruitment.
I understand that. But again, that's what I mean. But the second part of that, it's not as if he wasn't.
That's totally understandable.
it's not as if he wasn't aware he was costing 86 million as well. So we can't pretend like, oh, if it didn't work out and he was 40 million, it's fine. Scrap that. He cost 86 million. Ten Hag knew he was going to cost 86 million towards the end, and he still said yes. So, like with the performance tonight, whilst every player has to accept a burden of the blame because they were terrible, so does Ten Hag. This is where we have to be
Ten Hag has to take the blame. I understand that. Ten Hag's tactics tonight were awful, but I understand his point of him not wanting to change his style of play from his interview he did with Gary Neville. And I'm stuck between a rock of a hard place in my mind with Ten Hag. I don't know whether to. I'm not going to totally crucify him because it just makes no sense to crucify. I can't even say it now. Crucify him. Because when you look at Ten Hag, he's been. We can go back to the injuries and the excuses that we'll have, but at the end of the day, Ten Hag's got himself to blame for some of the results this season, and he's also got the players to blame. And I'm much more inclined to give the players, get rid of the players and give the manager more time before I am to get rid of a manager and keep the players. And people will say, oh, why don't we just get rid of both? Before we get rid of both, are we going to keep Ten Hag's players for the new manager, or are we going to get rid of all the Ten Hag's players and then bring in a new manager?
Well, so you said, but why does getting rid of the manager mean that we keep the players? Why does that? Why would that be the case?
Well, because you look at the players that we just signed last summer, how many years deals on? Mount's on what? Is he on a 4 or 5 year deal? Hoyland's on the same. Sandro Martinez is he on a 4 year deal? Bruno signed a new contract a couple of seasons ago, didn't he?
So then we can't get rid of him until his players that he signed last summer go.
No.
No.
I'm
not making the
territory.
Like if you lose football matches, right? And this is the Flex spoke about it on the match view. If you lose football matches and you don't get the results you need, you're gonna be in trouble. And that is the facts. And that's what happens with a football manager as well. We can argue about how fair it is and not fair and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just the facts of it. That is the facts. You live and die by the results. You live and die by decisions, signings as well. And it's not working out.
It's not working out, but I feel like I can't judge Ten Hag too harshly when he's I don't want to say he's not had structure because, well, he's gonna. I feel like no matter what happens in the future, United are going to have structure. I just feel when you look at Ten Hag's past at Ajax, when he had structure, he thrived. I'm just more inclined to give this manager more time with structure, not totally absolve him of blame. By no stretch should we totally absolve Ten Hag of blame because he's not blameless in any stretch of imagination. Like if Jurgen Klopp goes out and loses 7-2 like he did at Aston Villa, he's not blameless, is it? It's not all on the players. If Pep Guardiola goes out and loses to Wolves, he's not totally blameless. Every manager gets blamed. It's just I can't put all the blame on Ten Hag this season based on everything that's happened.
And you shouldn't. It shouldn't just be, it's not all Ten Hag's fault. I don't dispute that at all. But at the same time, again, when people say, oh, he's done well with structure in the past, so that means he'll do well with structure in the future, it's got to be more in depth than that. He did well at Ajax in a structure that suited him with people that he was aligned with. Overmars, Van der Sar, they were on board with the Erik Ten Hag project. Now, he can have structure at Manchester United, but if they above him don't think he's the right guy or they're not aligned, then that structure is completely pointless. So it's not necessarily the structure. It's actually about the structure with him. Are they on the same page? And as I've said before, if they don't think he's the right guy to take Manchester United forward, then they should go and find someone else. Because either way, it's not going to work, is it? It's just not.
No. But I want to make the point of that. Ten Hag, they don't have to be on Ten Hag's page. Ten Hag can get on their page. Ten Hag can say, I want to give in, not give in. I don't want to say it like that. He wants to move on to their page. He wants to get on the same page as them and work under them with this plan in mind. Whether that be Ten Hag changing his style of football at the end of the season, going into the next season, whether that be Ten Hag adapting his style of play currently, or whether that be they moving on with Ten Hag. He says, like, we're outside the building right now trying to discuss what's going on inside, and we don't really know. We can get our news reports, we can get the leaked insider information, but 9 times out of 10, it's not all going to be truthful, is it? At the end of the day, I feel Ten Hag would thrive with structure. And people saying he spent £400 million, a valid point. He did spend £400 million. Not all the deals were on him. And when he has needed backing financially, like i.e. the January transfer window when we lost Ronaldo, when we could have gone out and got a better striker signing to get us to the end of the season, we got Weghorst. And this January transfer window, when we had Højlund injured, Højlund scoring, but Martial injured, we've not gone and got anyone to financially back the manager, like to go and get a new striker to help him. We need to financially back the manager properly, not just with the Glaze issues that have been here for 10 years of only taking part in one transfer window out of the two.
This is my point earlier on. They said that it was said at the time, like with the Anthony one, if we do this, we're going to be taking money out of these future windows. And they all still said yes. They all still said yes to that. So then we can't cry poverty when it comes to the window of like, we don't have any money. And then we go, oh yeah, we don't have any money because we spent it all in our first window. Like
the Glaze, but not even the Glaze. The United strategy, though, in my mind, what did we have? Oh, we won't spend big in January ever because that'll take away from the summer transfer window. No, it happens every time when it comes to spending money at this club. It's never down to, it'll take away in future. It always takes away in future. But you know why you stop that from taking away in future? By backing the here and now and then winning so that we have more money in future. That's the issue with us. We don't spend when we need to. We spend more to try and win more in the future when we should be spending now to win more now. It's just the stupidity of United.
We spend money a lot of money every summer, and surely even you must realize that eventually there come a point where if you keep going, I need more money. Eventually, then they must say, well, we gave you a lot. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, that is a valid point, but also I have to make the point of how many clubs spend in January and how many clubs don't.
Well, clubs that are managed properly, like I said, then they'll be able to spend money in January. But again, with Ten Hag, we can't pretend that he wasn't aware of that money that was spent, particularly when we know how influential he is on recruitment. If it was like a Pochettino situation where he goes, I have no idea what happens with the transfers, I'm the head coach, I don't even get involved, then you would go, fair enough. But he's heavily involved, so we can't absolve him of the blame and be like, he has nothing to do with transfers.
No, I can absolve him. I can't absolve him of all the blame. However, I can absolve him of some of the blame when you look at how much we've spent on other players before Ten Hag got here. Like, at the end of the day, when Ten Hag wanted Anthony, how much did he say it cost? 40 million. Ten Hag probably still wanted his player throughout the entire of the window, but couldn't get him until the end. And when Ten Hag finally did get him, it was at an extortionate price that Ten Hag either had to accept or go into the season a player down that he wasn't going to be able to get. And I don't want to keep going on this point of the financial issues because it's just going to go nowhere. Ten Hag, in my mind, with the strongest 11 possible, wins matches this season, but without the strongest 11, he's not been able to do it. It is what it is.
It is what it is, indeed. Big up, Connor. Appreciate you calling in. Am I caught up with Super Chats? No, I'm not. Al Cap says the Clemson game. I can't read that one out. And Blaze says, Owen, we are shite. Yeah, we are. I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the thumbnail. I put that guy on there in the background. He was, I think that's after like 2-0 or something like that in the away end. Just like that, head down. And I just tweeted out, same. You know, what can you do? I mean, big up to the away fans this evening. They were terrific. They always are. Man United away fans are the best away fans. And they applauded the players off. Not that they deserved it, you know. But it just... Amanor says, Glasner been in the job for 2 months and beats Erik ten Hag. Well, this was also something that many people were pointing out as well, weren't they? Saying he's not been in the job very long and he's implemented a style of play, switch systems as well, by the way, too. Plays free at the back. So even that part, and how much money has he had to spend too? You know, make your best of what your tools, what you've got, and then when it comes into something, you try and improve it. But we've got to be careful of. Isn't that how we found ourselves in the way that we found ourselves before? Is we just throw money at the problem without addressing any real problems as well. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Chalaboy Comics. My friend, talk to me. Not good. I'm not good. I'm not good after that. How are you?
You know, not good. And I want to say that I know somewhere deep down in my heart I still love Man U.
No, he just can't even entertain it. Can't even entertain it this evening. Can't even entertain it. I knew when he was starting doing a bit. I thought, here we go. We'll try again. We'll try again.
All right. Thank you for bringing me back. I just wanted, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. It was one of those.
I was too tempted to do it again. I got the KG problem. You know when you just go, I can't do it again. I'll do it back.
All right. Are we back finally? Are we back?
Yeah.
All right. Beautiful. Now, yeah, it was just a performance that you can't defend. So I'm not gonna try to. It was just a very out of sync performance from like every single player, and you can't just point to one. It was just everything was off from the get go, and we were absolutely dominated with a capital dominated by Crystal Palace. Olise was already doing tricks in the first 20 minutes of the game. It was just one of those ones. But credit to our away fans. We provided good support, clapped them off, sang the whole time. It was good. I enjoyed that. So yeah, it was a terrible performance, terrible watch. But at least we tried to fight, and our fans tried.
Did we though? Because I don't even think we can say that. I mean, I didn't see much fight out there. If this was a fight, this was first round throw in the towel stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess they provided the conditions to fight. Let's just say with the fans is what I guess the main point of that was. But yeah, it was disappointing to see. People touched on it earlier. Maino and Garnacho look, completely tired. So, I'm not even going to blame them. I feel like not having a striker at the top level, I'm waiting for Højlund to turn it around because the trend has definitely been downwards of late. So it's more of the same. And, I wanted to be optimistic, but when you actually just look at the objective reality of our squad composition, the current confidence level of the team, the fitness level of our overall squad, going against a well-oiled team at the level that is the Premier League, the fine margins can be the difference between a 1-0 win, a 1-1 draw, and a 5-0, defeat. So, yeah, it's just disappointing to see. But I think we should, now because we know our reality, it's not gonna change magically. What the squad needs at this point is confidence leading up to the FA Cup final. So that's what I'm gonna do. In my part is just to provide that perspective, just so that we don't dump on the team right now, because what will that do? But at the same time, I do believe that the talks or the viewpoint should be about looking at what are potential solutions. Because now we've all accepted the criticism of the squad. We've all accepted we're not good enough. We've all accepted things are broken. But what are next step solutions if we're going to plan for next season and onwards? And I think those are more productive conversations to have.
Get rid of them. That's the solution for next season.
Get rid of who?
Where'd you start? Like I said, after the Coventry game, I think some people are quicker than others. You look at people like Eriksen. He's got a year left in his contract. I think you look at Wan-Bissaka tonight. He's got a year left in his contract. Casemiro, fingers crossed. You're hoping Saudi pick up the phone and make the call, and he wants to go. By the way, as well, you're thinking the same with Anthony. You're going, well, I don't think he's going to go anywhere in the summer because he's got like 3 or 4 years left on a contract that's worth 200k. But maybe we can convince him to go out on loan or something like that. Maybe. I think the manager's in massive trouble. I think because and this was my point about momentum. Once again, I'm telling you now, is it this week, the Champions League semi-finals again? But the moment that Bayern play that game, if they find a way to get to the Champions League final, then Tuchel's going. And then meanwhile, the manager that's in the seat is being linked with or moved to Bayern or whatever, is losing games 4-0, even with all of the injuries and whatever. It'd be in big trouble, massive trouble.
Yeah, no, those are fair points. And I think the best way for me to answer that or respond to that anyway, is to look at the squad building portion of things first and then moving on to the manager, because there's something I want to bring up with regards to the overlap interview that Gary Neville did, where he interviewed himself and, talked about, Dan Ashworth and talking about him being an England manager. Like, something tells me that Ineos wants a British manager as Manchester United manager that's the feeling I'm getting in the long-term plan. And it's taken me back to when Sir Jim Ratcliffe was talking about the British core. I'm just starting to, that's sort of come back into my mind. But to start with the squad building, it is clear to see, if we compare Manchester United last season to this season, that two of our, let's say, 3 or 4 most important players just outright in our team have been Shaw and Martinez. They are our best players in that position. We haven't had them all season. We can talk about that. Now, you look at the left back position, we assume that Martinez is going to come back fit. So you say a left center back is there, but we need a second cover for a left center back that's at the level of Martinez to be able to challenge him for that spot. So that talks about getting rid of Evans. That talks about getting rid of one of Lindelof and Maguire. I'd rather keep Maguire, get rid of Lindelof, and get a way better center back there. And then we have to get effectively a starting left back to rival Luke Shaw, and Malacia can provide covers. So those are 2 problem areas that we have to solidify, going into next season. You mentioned Casemiro, and while I understand the value of having him in terms of leadership, in terms of a veteran presence in the team, if he can reduce his wages, which I don't think he will, but if he does, I can see a path for him staying. If not, we're definitely, regardless of if he stays or not, we definitely need a world-class 6 in our squad, like just a prime player. And I don't have the scouting available to recommend who specifically, but someone in the type of mold of FDJ would be perfect. But that's something we need to improve on. Then, in terms of the overall squad of Maino, Bruno.
Wait a minute, were you saying Casemiro stay on reduced terms?
No, I'm saying if he reduces his terms, I would keep him on. I'm not saying that if it's going to happen. I'm just saying I value the leadership presence that a 5-time Champions League winner has in terms of a squad composition. We don't have people with hardware in that squad, and I think that if you're going to replace Casemiro, you have to replace him with someone who has hardware. If he's,
Did he look like a 5-time Champions League winner tonight, though? Like, that leadership was, he was captain tonight as well. That was hardly a captain's performance.
Of course. And that, what I'm saying is, he's performing way below what I know he's capable of. So to me, I'm not, he needs to be better. That's like 100% fact. But I don't think
capable of better, though. That's the concern. Because I saw a 32-year-old person who looked like it was his career's coming to an end. And again, he's been playing like that for a while, getting skipped past, can't do anything. That looked bad. And we're talking about someone like Johnny Evans, keep him around for experience because he's not on that much wage. How much is Casemiro on? He's on like 300K a week or something like that. Even if he dropped it to 2, you'd be like, it's just, that's throwing money into a black hole, isn't it?
Sure. That's a point taken. And I don't think he's necessarily just done, physically. I think it's exacerbating, situations of his current profile, the space he has to cover, all that stuff. But even taking that out of consideration, his levels have just been below, even the pro level. And I just don't think that that's what he's capable of. But besides the point, you're 100% right. It's still an area where we have to, improve on. So the 6 is where I'll improve. So, and then the last position that I would look at is the striker position. And we also have to get someone who's going to be able to just be better than Rasmus Højlund. So once we sort all those situations out, how we sort them out will decide how we want to go. You touched on it perfectly, where you said at the end of the day, the conversations between Erik ten Hag and Ineos are going to happen. And if Ineos believes in him, we will keep ten Hag and we will continue down this path. But if they don't, we'll get a new manager. So now that brings me to this situation. I have a feeling that the Gareth Southgate talks, remember Gary Neville had another overlap conversation where seemingly out the blue, he just starts talking about, man, Southgate would be a very, I could see him as Man United manager. That to me felt so placed strategically as a talking point that I started to pay attention to it. And then when I heard that in this most recent situation, Dan Ashworth wanted Gary Neville to be the England manager, told him that this Valencia job is a perfect step for you. And if you do well, we'll bring you in. It strikes me as there is a network of familiarity between a lot of these English, English staff, Dan Ashworth, Will Cox, and all these things. I'm only looking, from the outside looking in. I don't know as a fact.
But
So
the CEO, the new CEO, where is he from?
is Barada? Where is he from? Spain, yeah.
Spain.
But he's
Spain.
he's also very British. Like he's
well, he's worked at City, but before that he was at Barcelona. So even that's when he gets into the British thing, you go, kind of falls apart a little bit. And also, and even with that, he might have been right with Dan Ashworth, what he said about Gary Neville becoming the England manager. If it worked out at Valencia, then he could have become the England manager. Of course, he was part of the England coaching staff, but he got absolutely, it was horrible. It was horrific, his time at Valencia as well. So I see even with the Gareth Southgate thing, with how bad things are at Manchester United at the moment, the last thing Ineos want to do is piss off the fans even more.
Yeah, right.
And that's what Gareth Southgate would do. I think the Gareth Southgate thing, I think there might have been something in it initially of like, oh, maybe let's have a look. And then if that was like the litmus test of let's see how people would react, and then the sheer negative reaction to it, I think I just don't see it. And also he's rubbish. We're not going to win the Euros this year anyway.
I hope not. I guess what I'm saying is that this Tuchel link to Ineos, I'm not even sure if that's going to be Ineos's main guy. Now, obviously, these conversations will have to happen and things of that nature. But something tells me that the ultimate goal for Ineos is to have a British core running through Man United, which I don't oppose per se, but I'm just saying I feel like they want a British manager at that head. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see how it develops, but that's just my general feeling right now.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Big up Chalaboy Comics. We will see what happens with that. Gareth Southgate, I just don't see it. I don't see the Gareth Southgate thing. Like I said, maybe initially they kind of floated it out there, but he's so bad. He's so bad. You think like this is bad at the moment. Gareth Southgate, honestly. And I think also, again, this is when I say like with the Thomas Tuchel thing, this is what's fascinating with the Thomas Tuchel just situation in general. There's a guy there who is he's going to be without a job in the summer, and he's in a Champions League semi-final. Imagine he did even just get to the final. How like remarkable is it to have a Champions League final manager on the free market? It's a very unique situation. That's my point. It's a very unique situation there. And we will see what happens. Definitely. What are people saying in the chat here at the moment before I wrap things up? Mano says, it's too cool. Oh, there you go. It's moved real quickly. I'm too cool all day and I just can't wait just because nobody wants to. We're always wrong as fans. We'll be lucky if Tuchel risks his career at United as well. I will say with the Thomas Tuchel stuff, and I've said this a lot recently, like I have seen like a bizarre approach to put down what he has achieved, shall we say, in his career. You know, what's he done apart from win the Champions League and get to a final or Champions League and win the Liga and the Bundesliga and what have you. I think, the argument of would the players be there to play his system? Because sometimes, this is also the other thing. They go, he likes to play a back three. He's played a back four with Bayern all season. So it's not as if he's adverse to it totally. I think we'll see what happens with the Thomas Tuchel stuff. I think at the moment it is just about getting to the end of the season. I mean, the longer it goes on with the injuries and what have you, I just don't see us winning a game between now and the end of the season. I really don't. The weekend, my God, Arsenal at Old Trafford. I mean, and again, this is Arsenal that know they have to win every single game and then hope that City slip up as well. It's just, it's like, oh my God. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I think I'm caught up with the super chats here. A couple of super chats here. K-Flow says, again, some of us have been talking about stupid wages, stupid transfers, and we get told, not our money. This keeps biting us, but can't sell shit players. That, to me, is absolutely one of the bigger frustrations for me when people go, who cares? It's not your money, because it comes back to bite us. It always does. It always does. And K-Flow also says, Cass isn't even reading the game well, like Carrick at that age. Leadership, maybe cheerleadership is what he'll be useful for. I think, Manchester United will be hoping, absolutely hoping to see if Saudi or someone will pick up the phone in the summer. We shall see. Anyway, guys, be sure to click the like button. How many likes did we end up at, actually? We're on 234 likes. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well whilst you're at it. Fan views, if they're not out, should be on their way out very, very shortly. And we'll be back with more content very, very soon. And the build-up to the Arsenal game continues or begins tomorrow. Anyway, I'm out of here. Peace.